I'm Ryan O'Doud, and you're listening to Ryan's Audiobooks on the Issues Magazine YouTube channel. Today we continue with section 10.6 of Adam from the Son of Knowledge by Lex Hixon Nur Al Jerrahi. We're picking up at the beginning of chapter 4, Heart of the Holy Quran. This essay uses the mode of Gnostic unveiling, which the great Islamic sheikh of 13th century Spain, Ibn Arabi, contrasted with the procedure of scholarly investigation and commentary. This approach of unveiling serves better than a more linear, rational, commentative style to honor the noble Quranic chapter Yasin, which many dervish orders consider the mysterious center and pivot of the Arabic Quran. The various sections of this composition came forth while fasting on successive days of Ramadan. 4. Heart of the Holy Quran. Unveiling Surah Yasin, verse 1. Two mystic letters from the boundless language of Allah reflect in the clear mirror of the Arabic Quran as Ya and Sin. By these radiant and resonant letters is the beloved Muhammad, upon him be peace, known among the countless palaces of the angelic realms, which surround the visible cosmos as a vast shining sea would surround a mustard seed. This Muhammad of light known by the angels is the first light, the transparent pillar of light shining timelessly from the core of reality. This Muhammadan light is the very longing of the inconceivable essence, the hidden treasure to be revealed, to be known, to be loved. This metaphysical column of radiance is the supreme devotion of living light to the single source of light and life. Before the eternal angelic realms are created as flawless, gem-like worlds of praise, crystallizing deep within divine light, Muhammad, the principle and pillar of light, stands alone before his Lord. From the moment they are called into being, the angelic emissaries of divine light intuitively know through the letters Yasin, that prismatic first light from whom, through whom, and for whom they were created by Allah Most High. Yasin, 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 they call continuously to the light of prophecy with the beautiful resonance of their dynamic play of light, created by Allah to be pure praise. Listen to these heavenly voices as they cry. May the supernal peace and blessing of the supreme source pour forth abundantly upon Yasin, our beloved light, generating him as the five-pointed golden star, the brilliant crown of creation, which is perfect humanity, the mysterious meeting place of divine essence and divine attributes in the sphere of organic creation. Yasin is the pen of universal intellect, by whom the Quran of the 18,000 universes is written on clear pages of light that chant themselves as temporality and eternity. Angels are created out of the primordial Muhammadan light, their magnificent praise springing forth from his own original and incomparable words of praise, La ilaha illallah, there is nothing apart from supreme reality. So too are human souls created from this beloved light. Affirmation of unity is our essential nature, the very light of knowledge and light of mercy, the very light of lights known as Yasin. We are the gracefully spreading rays of that first light, that Gnostic lightning flash, La ilaha illallah. We are microscopic rays of the vast light of guidance, Yasin, who has manifested through brilliant prophetic souls during human history, awakening billions of minds and hearts to the light and as the light. So with the angels we can equally cry to him, our beloved light, Yasin, Yasin, Yasin. We call out not from the eternal angelic realms which remain astonished by the mystical ascension through them of the Muhammad of Arabia, may peace be upon him. We call out from the blessed days of the fullness and completion of revelation. This ocean planet has now become one holy place of prayer, one mosque, its very dust sanctified by the Mohammedan sandals that stood before the throne of mercy and touched the unapproachable ground of essence. During this era of Earth's history, we have been supremely privileged to witness the pre-eternal Muhammad, the principle of prophecy, become fully expressed at last as the seal of prophecy, the fragrant, beautiful, prayerful Muhammad of Arabia. We are complete. Therefore, we can sing with the rich tones of the Holy Quran, in which the wisdom and beauty of all prophets is conserved and fused. May the praise of Allah Most High and of His exalted angels be upon Muhammad, the perfection of humanity, worthy of the praise with which the angels first praised the transcendental Adam. And may divine praise and divine good pleasure be directed as well to his beautiful family and to all his noble companions, who will arise throughout history until the end of time. These lovers will reflect the light of his perfect humanity in the bright mirrors of their hearts, cleansed and sanctified by the way of universal Islam, the way that fully realizes daily life into all-embracing divine life. With the ecstatic cry, Yasin, 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 we have reached the glorious heart of the vast body of the Arabic Quran. The mother of books lifts her veil as a bride to her husband's gaze. Now we can contemplate perfect humanity as the face of supreme love. The light of Quran is the light of guidance, the original Muhammad of light, who later came to be known as Yasin to angels and finally to human lovers living in the completion of revelation. The Muhammadan light is the pulsing heart of Quran. The Muhammad of Arabia, the mercy of Allah to all the worlds, not only came bearing the glorious Quran, but is the glory of the Quran. He both received Quran and demonstrated Quran with his very being. His movements were Quran. His life in all detail was Quran and is Quran. His human face shone like a bright page of the Holy Quran, illuminated with pure gold. Thus the foreheads of his noble spiritual family, the true lovers, shine with precisely the same Quranic radiance, and the mystic letters Ya and Sin. Lead us, O Yasin, through the central door of Surah Yasin, to encounter the mysterious illumination of Yasin everywhere, through everyone, in every breath and every event of creation, which all reflect the beautiful divine names of Allah Most High. Yasin is the secret. Surah Yasin is the key to the secret. Glory to the Lord of worlds. Amin, Amin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Verses 2 through 12. Creation exists for the sake of the beloved Muhammad of light, who shines through and adds the glorious Quran, the mother book that bears all the wisdom of Allah within her radiant womb. Since the beginning of human history, this divine wisdom has flowed as a single stream of revelatory energy through 124,000 noble prophets, including 313 chosen messengers, may peace be upon them all, never repeating mechanically but remaining ever unique, alive with divine life, free from limited human conceptions. Allah Most High confirms that the Muhammad of light, the original light and mercy of the countless realms of Allah's light and mercy, the exalted Yasin, stands within this inner circle of 313 messengers of love. This is the central circle among billions of concentric circles of precious human souls. More elevated than angels, these souls face only the truth, magnifying their Lord and merging with their Lord. We witness with our whole being that Yasin, the first light, is the sheikh of these 313 incomparable beings of radiance, each of whom has established by the will of Allah and by the most heroic personal effort a true and complete spiritual way for their own nation, a way that leads through the veils and metaphors of light into the source of light. At the center of the sublime circle of 313 stand the 12 magnificent spiritual leaders of the prophetic body. Upon them be divine peace. Adam, Noah, Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, David, Solomon, Jesus, and the Muhammad of Arabia. Theirs is the straight path, the direct way, the only way. The single divine message that they bear manifests at the heart of temporality as the universal call to prayer, the universal way of living prayer. This message remains always one in essence, yet is uniquely expressed to each prophetic luminary. This is the universal revelation, descending from the radiant black rain cloud of divine essence as a downpour of fragrance and refreshment for all creations that are called forth by one complete perfect creativity. The rain of revelation drenches the universe from end to end. Exalted beyond any conception or imagination, beyond any measure or symbol, is Allah all-powerful, and yet His mercy is more extensive and mysterious than His power. Every drop of this temporal and eternal rain of His holy mystery is a book of revelation, a book of reality. Remembering Allah ecstatically with every breath, we stand beneath the wonderful rain of living gems, this cascade of revelatory verses and clear signs. To prepare and open the soil of the heart for the rain of divine grace, humanity must be warned and chastened, disciplined and refined, awakened from the confused dream of carelessness, made sensitive and responsive to every divine moment and to every breath of life as the very flow of divine life. Carefulness, caring, concern, and intuitive recognition of the mystic waves of the divine will, as one recognizes instantly the face of a beloved friend. This is the prophetic call, the prophetic process. This is the highest training of humanity for which the noble messengers come, and for which their families, companions, and sublime lovers sacrifice their lives from age to age. The word of Allah, manifest through all inspired scriptures, always bears truth, demonstrates truth, and awakens the innate human ability to recognize truth unerringly and uncompromisingly. Divine words streaming from the prophets and from the mystic guides who inherit the spiritual wealth of prophecy alone can humble the proud. Those whose entire mode of being has become rigid and awkward through pride are isolated by Allah most wise from the delicate and delightful realms of holy vision, lest they disdain or even despise spiritual beauty, bringing even more harm upon themselves and upon other precious human souls who may associate with them. These arrogant ones are mercifully surrounded by divine barriers and divine veils, lest they gaze upon the slightest spiritual secret with an impure heart. Their habitual self-perpetuating negativity is impervious to the subtle nature of the prophetic radiance, the light of guidance, which is streaming into the universe at this very moment through the vast channel of Yasin. Only those whose hearts are melted by the sweet fire of love, whose eyes are purified by tears of love, and whose minds have become utterly humbled through constant contemplation of the awesomeness of Allah, only lovers of the great love, lost in love and found in love, can receive the message of Yasin directly from the most tender source of love. These are the ones who experience total purification, total divine forgiveness for the slightest shadow of negation or rebellion, hatred or cruelty that has ever touched their minds even for an instant. What inconceivable joy is kindled by the news of this resurrection of love in a body and mind composed entirely of divine love, not waiting for the end of time, but standing up here and now from the narrow grave of the limited self. This bliss beyond measure alone can experience and express the generosity of Allah. Whoever longs for supreme bliss may now come forward to receive. This is the astonishing invitation of Allah, transmitted today through His sublime lovers and intimate friends, who are given the divine power to awaken and resurrect dead hearts, both those who have died spiritually while continuing to live on in this earth in the bondage of self-centeredness, and those who have died physically and may have entered into the terrible grave of despair and tortured conscience. The call to divine life, which streams as a vast torrent through the very being of these universal lovers, can bring the living and the dead to higher and higher spiritual levels. This evolutionary change of levels is demonstrated unequivocally by authentic dreams and visions. The transformation and elevation of human beings who have strayed from the truth, accomplished by the healing touch of light-bearing lovers of truth, is promised and confirmed in the Holy Quran, shining forth with perfect clarity from its central chamber, Surah Yasin. Calls out the divine voice through the surah, You will have the power to quicken and resurrect every heart who has become divinely attracted to you and who has been joined subtly to you by Allah All-Merciful, companions known and unknown, from the present and from the past. This is the secret promise to all the lovers of Yasin, the first light from whom the souls were formed. For this divine promise of becoming the mercy of Allah to human hearts, the noble messengers and their successors weep with profound gratitude. Every heart is an entire life-bearing world, an entire planetary civilization, precious beyond any calculation. Yasin, 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 attract all hearts without exception to the prophetic light. Heal, elevate, and illumine them. Fill them with universal love. Grant them the purest peace of oneness, the highest station of Islam. Glory to the Lord of the worlds. Amin, Amin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Verses 13 through 32. The universe is a book of parables. Human history is an interwoven teaching story. Every prayer time marks an advancement in spiritual knowledge for persons who see with the eyes of their hearts wide open. Companionship amongst lovers of truth provides the most radiant explanation, which contains subtle levels of understanding that unfold as this companionship deepens, as intimate association becomes union, just as grapes growing together on one potent vine are crushed and fermented into the wine of love. The most exalted experience of spiritual companionship arises among the apostles of a world teacher. These blessed souls, wherever they appear in history, form a single transtemporal mystical body of the prophetic message. They serve humbly and lovingly as limbs and organs for one another, trembling like green leaves in a bright wind as the breath of the Holy Spirit passes among them, causing them to dance and glisten in the sunlight of truth. Storms of resistance and persecution also sweep down upon the mystical body of prophetic companions. Yet the roots of the prophets, may peace be upon them all, are plunged deep in the soil of the secret heart. So the trees of their spiritual communities are never uprooted, even by the most bitter gales. The noble trunks, the great limbs, and even the smaller branches are fully alive with the sap of ecstasy of conscious union with reality. They bend gracefully under the blast without breaking, while brittle worldly structures fracture instantly. The tree of revelation, whose root is the beloved Muhammad of Arabia, upon him be peace, has experienced 14 centuries of vigorous growth. The tree of revelation planted by Allah Most High in the heart of Muhammad's intimate spiritual brother Jesus, upon him be peace, has experienced 20 centuries of vigorous growth. Some 2 billion precious souls living on the planet today are protected and refreshed beneath the life-giving shade of these two lofty and wide-spreading trees of sweet spiritual companionship. 2 trees from the same soil, whose limbs and roots touch and intertwine. The intense lovers who form the mystical orders of Islam have taken the beloved Jesus as their spiritual friend and model, emulating his mildness, his poverty, his simplicity, his dedication, his love, and his mystical union. With the eyes of the heart, the lovers of Islam clearly perceive the spiritual equality of these 2 great embodiments of divine love, Jesus and Muhammad. Upon them both be perfect and abundant peace, and upon their devoted companions throughout time. When the Prophet of Allah was cleansing the holy Kaaba and the city of divine power, clearing away primitive idols, he allowed the beautiful fresco of the Virgin Mary holding the child Jesus to remain, gracing the inner wall of the innermost sanctuary of Islam, just as the Virgin and her radiant child remain central to the Quran. The Holy Quran extols the ancient Christian fathers and mothers of the desert, who lived in the wilderness of total renunciation in order to live within divine life alone. The Holy Quran predicts that these renunciants will shed tears of love upon recognizing the authenticity of the bearer of the Quran. There is a modern Christian lover of truth whose eyes once overflowed with tears when he prayed the sublime Friday prayers of Islam with dervish brothers and sisters. When he came forth from the Mosque of Delight into the most dynamic city of the modern world, he perceived more vividly than with physical vision a vast blue lake right there among tall buildings and busy streets. Along the shore of the lake were strolling joyously arm in arm the two culminating prophets of divine love, demonstrating the perfect harmony of their spiritual ideals and calling for harmony among their spiritual communities. Their mystical bodies represent 34 centuries of cumulative experience, both Gnostic wisdom and tender compassion. Surah Yasin, Heart of the Holy Quran, contains the story of the blessed companions of Jesus, upon him be peace, who entered the city of Antioch, which was the center of worldly dynamism in their cultural era. The wise and tender voice of the light of guidance mysteriously speaks through an unknown man of Antioch in support of these Christian apostles. Thus Jesus and Muhammad, may the most sublime blessings of Allah always be upon them, are inseparably joined by Surah Yasin in the heart of the Quran, at the heart of Islam, at the heart of the drama of revelation, beside the blue lake, the fountain of love in the garden of paradise, distributing freely to all humanity the ultimate drink of divine love. Surah Yasin reveals that the awakened companions of truth must enter the city of world power and transmit the message of love, which will cleanse that center from all traces of worldliness. The response of that city dwellers is always anger and terror, as an anxious child might feel towards the doctor who cleans and cauterizes his wound. Truly we have been sent on a mission to you, cry out the light-bearing apostles of Jesus to the anxious children of Antioch. Truly we have been sent on a mission to you, calls the resonant Arabic text of the glorious Quran. With the directness and simplicity alone can divine love speak. Only with this openness, with this vulnerability. When the mission of love is inevitably rejected by limited selves and limited societies, the love-bearing apostles accused of deception most humbly reply, our Lord alone knows that we have been sent on a mission to you, and our only responsibility is to proclaim his clear message. Allah alone is the knower. Allah alone is clarity. Allah alone is the power of the mission. To this merciful power, manifest through the shining eyes of the companions of love, the tyrannical pharaoh of the grasping and domineering self cries out, if you do not desist from teaching, we will stone you and inflict grievous punishment upon you. The truly believing heart, the sultan heart that blends with the nobility and majesty of faith, now shines forth in the divided city of human consciousness. This pure heart always exists hidden within the city of the world, secretly manifest as the human soul, the crown of creation. This true heart, this perfect humanity, comes forth with deep dedication and runs toward the spiritual goal. The mysterious words of Surah Yasin continue to open before the Gnostic eye. There came running from the farthest part of a city a man crying, O my people, obey the apostles. These are the sweet words of faith that continuously stream forth from the interior chamber of every human heart, even the heart of the Egyptian pharaoh, although Allah seals and hardens the surface of negative beings to protect them from their own negativity. This absolutely faithful witness deep within the very structure of human consciousness, crying out from the radiant pages of Surah Yasin, presents this criterion for the authenticity of an apostle. Obey those who ask no reward of you and who have themselves truly received guidance. The authentic companions of divine love want nothing and need nothing from any being in creation, since they are nourished and protected by transcendent reality alone. Thus they are supremely generous with their very lives to all conscious beings. They would gladly welcome martyrdom, becoming wheat ground up by the teeth of wild beasts and baked in an oven of furious flames, in order to become the bread of life to all those who are hungering for substantial spiritual teaching. The bearers of divine love, whose very bodies and minds have become divine love, are those who have received the light of guidance into the core of their being. These representatives of the prophets shine with divine light in every moment, not simply through their verbal teaching, but in their own unshakable state of being. These fully surrendered servants of divine love are the most sweetly reasonable and yet the most uncompromising of all persons. cries out the prophetic voice of Yasin in luminous words. It would not be reasonable, nor would my being be harmonious, if I did not serve with my whole being him who created me, and him to whom all of you will be brought home again. Shall I adopt idols or derivatives when I have him, the original reality? I accept wholeheartedly whatever the most gracious one intends for me, whatever adversity, for it would be profound spiritual error to invoke derivative powers to protect me against the will of the one true power, who is the supreme Lord of every one of you listening to these words. My heart is overflowing with the royal treasures of faith. Freely receive here and now the wealth of the prophets. Then Sultan Allah, the king above earthly kings, calls to his perfect slave of love, who is Yasin, the single prophetic light that shines through all the messengers. My beloved friend, enter the garden of essence. Yasin is completely overwhelmed by the mystery of divine mercy and weeps. Would that all humanity could know what I know. For these sublime tears of universal compassion, for this most tender solidarity with human longing, Yasin, the Muhammad of light, has received the divine promise of total forgiveness for every heart that is joined to him in love, by even a grain of love for him or for those who love him. This all-powerful attraction of divine love is his only army, his only weapon. The cosmic explosion of limitless love, experienced whenever we turn our being entirely to the Lord in prayer or contemplation, reduces the resistance and recalcitrance of the world to ashes like a madly blazing fire, suddenly quenched with water. This sudden silence and stillness is the day of truth, when all consciousness stands naked and transparent before the living truth alone. The flames of mockery at the truth, in which all limited selves indulge, are now mercifully dispelled. O Yasin, be with us now and on that final day beyond time, which may dawn for us at any moment. Be our gracious intercessor, our clear witness, our inward completeness that needs nothing else. Be our beloved light of guidance. Glory to the Lord of the worlds. Amin, amin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbi la alamin. Verses 33 through 50. All creation is a sign from Allah most wise to his beloved souls, whom he called into being from the pre-eternal Muhammadan light, in whose very being is the primordial yes, spoken by every soul without exception before entering the drama of temporality. This original acceptance of Allah's invitation to the path of return constitutes the essence of human consciousness. Therefore, the true life breath of the soul sings ceaselessly, "Yes, I am coming, gracious Lord, I am coming." Creation is revealed as a reservoir of spiritual meaning to the soul, who is aware of its own essence and is therefore consciously and constantly oriented toward the source of creation. The cycles of organic life on this earth are potent signs from the source of wisdom, signs that prefigure seasonal changes in the life of the soul, for each soul is like a life-bearing planet revolving around the sun of truth along the invisible orbit of Allah's will. The Holy Quran reveals that as the earth which dies in the winter is renewed in the spring, so the earthly body which dies and falls into the soil as a potent seed crystal is regenerated by Allah all-powerful in the spiritual springtime and recrystallized as a miraculous body of pure radiance on higher planes of being. In this way, every expression of organic life is a sign and type for the future life of transcendence. This mysterious future life actually begins the moment we turn consciously toward truth and enter the path of return. The grain springing from cultivated fields prefigures the abundant harvest of divine teaching. The orchards of fruit-bearing trees, carefully pruned by the gardener, are seen with the eye of Gnostic vision to herald the nourishing and refreshing fruits of divine wisdom, tasted by the illumined intellect after careful spiritual discipline. Vines heavy with grapes symbolize the abundance of spiritual emotions within the heart, which are crushed and fermented by divine power to become the wine of love. Fountains of clear water welling up from invisible springs deep within the earth symbolize the uprushing currents of spiritual energy in the subtle body, providing true refreshment for humanity, both in time and in the timeless realm called paradise. Thus the whole creation is a window of revealed metaphor for souls to gaze through into the wonders of their spiritual homeland. To the origin and goal of the universe, souls are constantly returning. The entire cosmos is ecstatically returning. not just a window to view the astonishing play of divine attributes. This transparent creation of Allah can become, at the depth of prayer or inward remembrance, an open door through which we can walk into essence. Not even angels can follow. Nothing in creation is essentially man-made, for our hands and minds are simply instruments of Allah. Nothing can be more awesome and illuminating than creation when perceived in all of its intricate detail as divine teaching, divine manifestation, and divine call. Creation, when experienced as being in intrinsic communion with its creator, is sheer gratitude. Manifest being gives thanks with every breath, with every heartbeat, every pulse of energy. The very function of the creation is thanksgiving. Holy Quran reveals that the harmonious and mysterious communion between male and female principles, each uniquely powerful yet fully complementary, is a mirror for divine wholeness, manifesting as wise and tender divine creativity. Holy Quran reveals that the simple rhythm of day and night expresses the dynamic of consciousness, the evolution of spiritual degrees, states, and stations within the soul. Holy Quran reveals that the precise course of the sun throughout the sky and the subtle phases of the moon bear secrets of knowledge, illumination, and mystical love for the contemplative who perceives creation with the eyes of inner wisdom. Creation is the intimate embrace of the Creator. This divine creation is neither material, mechanical, nor impersonal, not a prison or an outer darkness alienated from divine life. The glorious Quran reveals that Allah alone is the light of both heavenly and earthly realms. There is no darkness in reality, who is all light, no deadness in reality, who is all life, no impersonality in reality, who is all mercy. The teaching signs of Allah, scattered so profusely throughout creation, become most intensely focused in human history as the wonders that divine love performs through the beloved prophets, may peace be upon them. Among the central prophetic signs is the bearing of the human race in all created life in the mystically spacious Ark of Noah, purified human consciousness becoming a vessel of salvation and regeneration for all beings from the terrible flood of arrogance, divisiveness, destructiveness, rebellion, heedlessness, cruelty, hatred, and indifference. Through the skillful and dedicated hands of the beloved Noah, upon him be peace, Allah most merciful created the ark. Through human instrumentality, Allah is continuing to create this holy ark from age to age, the vessel of true refuge constructed by the inward certitude of faith, impervious to the storm and deluge of deluded and distorted human behavior. Were it not for the supremely merciful will of Allah, humanity and the life of the entire cosmos would have succumbed again and again beneath the waves of rebellion and negation. May human beings awaken to the dangers of this flood of divisiveness and come consciously for refuge to the ark of oneness. Human beings constantly turn away from the truth of unity not just through criminal actions or metaphysical denial, but in the casual, careless, indifferent moments of their existence. O Yasin, O lightning flash of the first light, awaken us moment by moment. May we become true dervishes, children of the divine moment in which the garden of nearness flowers. The waves of rebellion and insouciance can be extremely subtle. Persons who have denied the faithfulness inherent in human nature, beautifully designed by Allah Most High to become the crown of creation, avoid and ignore the smallest act of human kindness, such as feeding the hungry and regarding all humanity as one family. Desperately, these persons who have rejected the sanctity of their own personhood and the precious personhood of others turn away from and even try to escape the signs of Allah, only to be confronted again and again, wherever they turn, with the demonstrations of divine love and by the lovers of divine love. They continue to keep their rebellion alive by asking absurd questions in the name of rationality and by demanding crude empirical explanations of the most refined spiritual teachings. Allah, all-powerful, will bring this tragic, empty argumentation to an end with a crescendo of the very divine resonance that already resounds harmoniously through all the revealed scriptures of humanity. This overwhelming resonance and living word of Allah will seize human beings with the full force of divine love and will consume their self-distraction and self-importance. This is the experience of death, which comes to everyone, tearing some away most painfully from the chronic state of egocentricity. Yet mystic lovers long to die before they die, to stand up in the resurrection of love here and now, on this green expanse of earth, while Allah all-merciful has spread out for humanity like a rich prayer carpet, beautiful and balanced in design. These are the divine words of Surah Yasin, full of countless levels of meaning and powers of healing, being spoken by the voice of Allah within the secret heart of humanity. Glory to the Lord of the worlds. Amin, Amin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Thus concludes section 10.6 of Adam from the Son of Knowledge by Lex Hixon Nur Al Jerrahi. Next time will be 10.7, where we will pick up again in chapter 4, Heart of the Holy Quran. I will see you then. Alam.